in these speeches and dialogues between Job and his friends, and continuing on through the speeches of Elihu and of Yahweh, there is a theme of knowledge, because everyone is speaking based on assumptions, things they think they know. When Eliphaz speaks in response to Job's curse and lament, his words show that initially he assumes that Job recognizes that he is being disciplined by Yahweh and is simply getting impatient with the process. That Job is being disciplined is what Eliphaz knows. Behold, you have disciplined many, and slack hands you strengthen. Your words raise up the one who stumbles, and you make firm feeble knees. Yet now it comes to you, and you are impatient. It touches you, and you are in haste. Eliphaz's words make it clear that the discipline of God has come to Job. Eliphaz, believing Job knows that this is so, counsels him to accept the discipline of Shaddai, who causes pain and binds up, smites, and his hands heal. If Job can suffer correction, he will yet be restored. And this is the same kind of assumption shared by the other ancient Near Eastern parallels we looked at in a previous video. Job, however, believes he's innocent, and he will not accept that God's chastisement is warranted. He believes the friends should comfort him, recognizing his despair. And the difference between Job's view of his suffering and his friend's view is integral to their ensuing argument. For the friends, God is just and would only bring disaster upon Job if it were justified. For Job, the fact that he is being punished without justification raises questions about God's justice. The friends, speaking as those wise in the ways of God, use their knowledge to try and move Job away from his stance against God to what they see as a more proper humility and patience. They admonish, they counsel, they correct in order to get Job to change his stance. Even when they give lengthy explanations of the fate of the wicked, they are not so much arguments for God's justice as they are a consolation and warning to Job. This first speech of Eliphaz sets out this position. Eliphaz begins by chiding Job for impatience. Job need only wait and have hope, and things will be well again. Bildad in chapter 8 begins by chiding Job. He then states, if your sons sinned against him, then he sent them into the hand of their transgression. Bildad invokes the fathers and compares the godless man and the one who fears God. And this comparison corresponds to the comparison between Job and his sons. It is those who have sinned that perish, the blameless that are restored. Thus, Job is meant to be consoled, because he has not yet perished. Zophar's first speech touches upon similar themes, but he's a bit harsher. He says, know that Eloah forgets for you part of your guilt. He points out to Job his lack of knowledge, and again encourages Job to seek God and be restored. His speech ends about the fate of the wicked, and this seems to be intended as a warning. But the eyes of the wicked will come to an end, and a way of escape will perish from them, and their hope will be in expiring breath. But Job's reaction to the friend's words is not what they would desire, and he laments throughout the book God's treatment of him. For the arrows of Shaddai are in me, whose poison my spirit drinks. The terrors of Eloah confront me. Your hands shaped me and made me. Together all around you swallow me up. Why do you hide your face and reckon me as your enemy? His anger has torn and borne me a grudge. He has gnashed his teeth at me. My adversary has sharpened his eyes against me. He has caused my brothers to be far from me, and my acquaintances have become estranged from me. I cry for help to you, and you do not answer me. I stand, and you do not consider me. Job also voices his complaints against the friends, and he accuses them of being partial in their judgment. My brothers act faithlessly like a stream, like the channel of rivers they pass away. Will you speak wrong for El, and for him will you speak deceit? Will you show partiality to him, or will you argue for El? This reflects the ancient Hebrew and perhaps even universal idea that one should not be partial to one party in a dispute, and he's saying that the friends are, that they are automatically rising to God's defense instead of looking at the case objectively. He continues, I have heard many such as these. You are all troublesome comforters. How long will you cause my soul grief and crush me with words? Job uses the knowledge he thinks he has to build a case against God. He knows that God will not acquit him. He knows that God's purpose was always to bring him to this suffering. He knows he should be vindicated since he is in the right. Job finds further evidence against God in the cosmos. God has great wisdom, power, and understanding, but uses it for harm and not for good. Yahweh's first speech comes as a challenge to Job's claims of knowledge concerning Yahweh's acts in creation, and some of Yahweh's words seem to directly address Job's words in chapters 3, 9, 12, and 26. And you can see this chart here, and you can look up the verses themselves. So Yahweh speaks about the earth, the stars, the sea, the dawn and the morning, death and deep darkness, light and dark, thunder and flood, constellations, cloud, lightning, storm, asking how much Job really knows about these things. And in this, Yahweh challenges Job's right to speak of his work in the world when he lacks the knowledge and experience necessary to speak with authority. At the same time, Job's description of the world is challenged.